Hi, this is Tisch Aitken, and it's Friday, April 19th, 2024. If you don't know who I am an astrologer, and I am trying to report on these crazy times in the world to bring some magic as much as we can. If you could please subscribe or like my channel, that would be awesome, or just get a feel for it. But I appreciate all the support, and we are in crazy times. I have to say that in the last week, I got really sick the day before the eclipse, and I had some things that got scattered. One person, a friend of mine, I don't think realizes how ill I was. She dropped off because I didn't make an appointment. I told her how ill I am, and I hope she sees this and realizes that, I'm human. We're all human. This has been a very overwhelming time. And I got thrown off. I got hugely sick. I'm just recovering now, and that was the day before the eclipse. Didn't anticipate that because I'm usually pretty strong and I take a lot of supplements, but I couldn't take supplements because I couldn't hold anything down for a few days. So it eclipsed my strength. And for all of us, recognizing that this is a very pressured time and a lot happening, we had two eclipses. The big whopper of an eclipse was April 8th, and that was a total solar eclipse 4 degrees away from the nodes of fate. And Chiron, the wounded healer, that's a very significant asteroid right now, okay? Chiron was exactly conjunct this north node eclipse in Aries, and I got pummeled. I got sick, but a lot of people, more importantly, are dealing with issues of healing psychologically. That's, I think, the predominant issue here because there's a lot of anger, there's a lot of rage, there's a lot of misery and pain, and the mental health stories are escalating. I just read them all the time. I'm not negative. I want to know what's going on in the world. And we have to think in the backdrop, we have Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, and they're going to get closer in the sky next spring, but they're still dominating the story just as much, in my opinion, as Pluto and Aquarius, because they have not met up exactly or closely since 1848, when the Communist Manifesto was written and published. What was published after? It was published, yeah, right during that time. Walden by Henry David Thoreau. He lived in Walden, I believe, in 1846 or 1847 and wrote the book at that time. He didn't publish it for a while longer. That would be a beautiful expression of it, in the fact that he was trying to live a different type of truth, dissolving certain things that weren't pertinent to him, finding his own structure and beauty in nature with Neptune, and how inspiring that was for him, obviously. And so this is a big deal right now we're all working with. Okay, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. Neptune is now at 28 degrees of Pisces, and boy, do I feel it because it's squaring my ascendant. Hence, I got really sick. Okay, so if you have a major transit, whether it's on the world stage, like for example, Pluto newly in Aquarius, that's a major transit. Okay, that gets emphasized. If you yourself are going through big cycles, whether they be Saturn transits or Neptune or Pluto, this is going to exaggerate the transit you're in. This is exaggerating Neptune. I could not get out of bed, and I'm still having trouble finding my energy, but I'll get it, okay? And thirdly, we want to think about the fact that we have a huge configuration tomorrow. Jupiter, the grand benefic, the luckiest planet, the planet of expansion and abundance and good fortune, higher learning and vision, the modern ruler of Sagittarius and the ancient ruler of Pisces, because Pisces has two rulers. Neptune is the modern, Jupiter is the ancient. Jupiter meets up with Uranus tomorrow at 10:27 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at 21 degrees and 49 minutes of the fixed Earth sign of Taurus. They have not met up in the sky since 1941. That was obviously during World War II, And that was during a difficult time, very difficult time. I'll get into that another time. But in that sign that they've met up since in the sky, but in Taurus. Taurus is about resources, banking, values, creativity, how you earn your income, how you can be resourceful. Uranus is unpredictable. It is the modern ruler of Aquarius, yet another sign that has two rulers. And we are now in the new age of Aquarius because Pluto is in Aquarius the next 19 years. Not totally done with the Capricorn story, which we're going to finalize from September 1st through November 19th when Pluto re-enters the last degree of Capricorn, and many things in our lives, outdated systems and ways of doing things and business, the whole business world is changing exponentially and really quickly. And we have already, often this happens, we were already working and operating on an outdated system. My father in the 80s and 90s was in finance on Wall Street. That old world is done now. That, you know, when the market closed, they didn't have a voicemail back then. And he got mad if clients contacted him on the weekends. That's not reality now. With technology, unfortunately, we can be accessible at all times, which is not necessarily great either. But that 9 to 5, he was able to work, and not everybody did that. But he got there when the market opened and he left when it closed, and he did quite well with that. But we are not in that system anymore. We are now in a new way of doing things. We need to upgrade our skills. We also need to become conscious. And we have to realize what that old outdated era did for us in more pejorative ways, you know, of maybe values that got skewed regarding money and people in power. And now, you know, the positive of this is with Jupiter-Uranus, what does that mean? You know, that movie, I never even saw it, Top Gun, I have the need for speed. I think that's the line. Well, I have the need to be free. That would be the catchphrase now with Jupiter-Uranus. This is a very liberating cycle. This is about Jupiter and Uranus both symbolize freedom. Uranus is about dealing with community and with the collective and with hopefully with enlightenment. It also can be like the Tower card. It can be very chaotic. Jupiter is freedom. Pardon me. It's definitely about education, which helps to free people, because when you have education, it gives you opportunities to be resourceful. Jupiter, Uranus in Taurus. That's a practical earth sign. Right now, inflation is high. We're in wars in the world, and gas prices are up again, and a lot's happening. But where's the magic? What do you want to liberate yourself from? We have to work with dreams and magic now because we have no choice. We have to be survivors. Much like at the end of World War I, there was an influenza at that time, and they didn't have ways to connect like we do. Whether I like technology or not, there are a lot of things I like about it, a lot of things I don't like about it that got us through a very difficult time. But now my big concern is the mental health epidemic, I feel, you know. People sucker punching children, stabbing babies, going after the elderly, going after women. Everybody's vulnerable. We're all losing it, I think. I don't mean everybody, but we're in a society where we're surrounded by it and we have to do something about it. And if that means working on yourself, because that's where it starts, on trying to find something that's a dream for you, this is a very manifesting energy. It doesn't feel like it right now, but you know, some people, this can be very exciting, and realistically, technology is going to soar in many different inventions and different platforms. It's going to expedite everything. And, you know, things are going to speed up a lot. They really have. The year's been flowing by, and that's the new age of Aquarius. But we also need, and I realized this last week, you know, Saturn and Neptune again. Saturn's going to be in Pisces on and off through February 15th of 2026. Neptune gets the final degree both of Pisces and of the zodiac on May 4th. Well, that's right around the corner, isn't it? And it'll be there for several months. The last degrees of Pisces is a fixed star known as Shiat, which is just as it sounds, okay? Scheat. It's a degree associated with self-undoing and suicide and misery. There are a lot of empaths and healers that have it in their chart that are very good at what they do, very good at doing healing work, because I feel the best healers, the best empaths, the best intuitives, they've been through life experience, they relate to it, they understand, and they use their wisdom to heal. If you haven't been through anything, it's hard to guide somebody. And I'm not saying that you have to go through tragedy to work somebody else through there, to help somebody else through their tragedy. But there's an empathy that comes under that umbrella. And so if you have that in your chart, don't freak out. That could be a gift and a blessing, because perhaps you're one of the people that actually cares. And my issue with technology is people letting doors, fall in people's faces. They're just so self-consumed. And that's been going on for a long time too. This is not a new thing. We have to be aware of other people. And that's where Jupiter enters Gemini on May 25th, and it'll be there approximately through early June of next year. I haven't even looked, okay, but it's going to be there a while. And it is technically in its detriment because it rules the opposite sign of Sag, but this is about expanding through doing local events, through getting involved with your local community, maybe volunteering, maybe going to a workshop, visiting more of your local restaurants or local stores to keep them afloat. This is about maybe going to the park, being around the neighborhood. When I grew up in New York, there were still neighborhoods in New York City, and you knew people in the area. There was a sense of neighborhood. That's long gone. But, we need in our own ways, whether it's taking classes, whether it's educating yourself. This new age of Aquarius wants you to enlighten yourself. And with the Pisces backdrop, very much with metaphysics and alternative ways of learning and thinking, but we have to upgrade our technological skills, that's for sure, because it's not going away and it's going to soar. But we also really can't lose sight of the fact that technology can be very alienating. Think back to the 90s. The internet began in 91 when Saturn was in Aquarius, and I believe that 97 was the first big shooting that I'm aware of. It wasn't Columbine, and I don't remember what shooting. This is early on in the internet, and obviously that's become so much bigger since then. In the last 27 years, this is a commonplace thing now. That was not before the internet. I'm not saying it never happened at a school, but not to these numbers. And again, people getting more disconnected with technology. And one of my premises on this whole era we're in, art without heart, we do not want that. Pisces is all about the soul, and a lot of artists and empaths, and we've all been damaged by this. There's not one person that has been unaffected. They may think they are, but they're not. Whether maybe they didn't experience a death, maybe they're not morbidly depressed, but it's all in the news around them. They have a neighbor or a friend or maybe somebody they go to for a service, whatever it is, they know somebody, and the world and wherever they live has changed tremendously. We need to come together. And that to me would be the beautiful vibration of Jupiter-Uranus, is not only freedom, but expanding what we can do together. Taurus is, about more, it's not an air sign. It's more, I think of Aquarius as very much group, community, the big picture too. And Jupiter's the big vision, but still, this is finding our resourcefulness, learning new skills, following those dreams that maybe you wanted to learn tarot. Maybe you're curious about crystals. Maybe you want to go back to school. Maybe you want to join a cooking class or something that's local. That would be a way to meet people again. They say it's so awkward for people to socialize now, and there's a lot more impatience and anger. So, this is a big time. honor this weekend. This is huge. 10:27 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Jupiter and Uranus. The last time they were met up in the sky was in 2010. The fall of 2010. They met up earlier in the year too, I believe, in Aries, but they definitely met up in Pisces on September 25th, and they met up again on January 2nd of 2011. And think of 2011. What happened in 2011, in the early part of 2011? Jupiter-Uranus. Well, that could be revolution. Uranus can be revolution. And it is technology. That was the revolution in Egypt that was was arranged through social media, through Facebook. There was a guy that named his kid Facebook. I'm sure he's since changed the name, but that happened. I remember it very well. So there can be a very rebellious energy. There can be issues with inflation. There could definitely be new ways of making money. As my father used to say, there could also be that energy of being in the right place in the right time, said by an Aquarius rising. So that's an idea of this too. Networking, thinking that dreams and opportunities and good fortune are possible. Do not give up. But remember too that in the solar eclipse on April 8th, which was huge and will dominate for a while. Some say the rest of the year. It's certainly very strong right now. That's making us real. The Jupiter-Uranus expands the chaos. As much as it expands the brilliance, it expands the chaos. And we had Venus meet up with Mercury early today at 4:59 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Mercury's still retrograde until the 25th of April, but that's a beautiful energy, a healing energy, and then, or at least a positive energy. Mercury and Chiron will meet up 3 times. They met up on March 20th. I believe it's 16 Aries. They met up again on the 15th of April at 20 degrees of Aries, and they're going to meet up a third and final time on May 7th at 21 degrees of Aries. Okay? And that is reinforcing the fact that a lot of healing and a lot of courage. We need a lot of courage now. We need to be peaceful warriors, but we got to fight for ourselves. Aries is the sign of self. Chiron in Aries is vulnerability about ego and identity, feeling you're not strong enough, you're not good enough, you're not worthy. Well, Jupiter, Uranus, and Taurus expand those gifts and feel like you're worthy, okay? And we've got a full moon on the 23rd at 4 degrees of Scorpio. That sets off the lunar eclipse that occurred on October 28th of last year. That was at 5 degrees of Taurus. That was the day that Matthew Perry died. And that was within a few days of Saturn stationing direct at the very first degree of Pisces. So think back to last fall. Right around end of October, early November. You probably remember what was going on with that round of eclipses. And then we have Mercury finally stationing direct on April 25th on the North Node of Karma in Aries. Got to go ahead, plan, think about what you need to do. And then remember, Jupiter is going to remain in Taurus just a while longer. On May 25th, it's zipping into Gemini, and it's going to get as far as 21 degrees of Gemini, and it'll retrograde on October 10th. So now we're changing the story. I'm kind of looking forward to Jupiter and Gemini. I think it's going to be good. Might be more scattered. It's not in its dignity or anything, but it's actually in its detriment. But people that have it, I find, have very curious minds, and they do a lot of different things. That's a good thing right now. Wishing you guys a lot of luck. Take care. And I'll see you soon. Hopefully I'll be a little bit healthier. Bye.